She's doing us live in studio after putting a backpack to the test, and it's a story you only see here on Erie News Now. Good morning, Megan.
Mark Brissa, good morning. In light of these recent school shootings, many of these bulletproof backpacks, like the one I have here, have become popular as a popular back-to-school item. According to guard dog security, the bag is made out of level 3A soft armor, which means it should stop most handguns. However, shooters haven't been using handguns. They've been using a lot of these assault and automatic rifles. Here's how the bag stood up to one of those rifles.
From there, we jumped up to a 16-inch barrel M4. Projectile we used was a 55 grain. All right. Okay, weapon's clear. We have an entry. We have an exit. And remember in this first one, it bubbled up to try to catch the bullet. There's no bubbling. This one it tried to catch. This one it's going so fast, there's no way that it's going to stop it. So if we flip our gel block over, kind of look at it from this angle, we actually caught that bullet in the back there.
According to the CEO of Guard Dog Security, the type of protection required to stop a rifle like the one you just saw would entail really heavy plates in this bag, which are very impractical for a small child to be carrying around to school. As you saw, that gel block just did catch that bullet during the test, and it did so because of that extra velocity, which made it tumble faster. So as soon as it's on impact, it does this kind of motion right here to kind of stay there and be more lethal. That tumbling is that lethality of a bullet. Although the backpack did fail at this level, we do have one more test coming up, so stick with us. Live from the studio, Megan Selensky, Erie News Now.
Yeah, certainly some great information for parents who might be in the market for one of those bulletproof backpacks, getting an idea of just some of their limitations this morning. All right, I want to get to the very latest on a story that Erie News Now has been closely following, and certainly one hitting the Gannon University community hard this Thursday morning.
Yeah, as reported on Wednesday, the victim of a deadly Tuesday shark attack in the Bahamas was from Erie. Gannon officials hosted a private prayer service for 58-year-old Carolyn DePlacido on Wednesday. Authorities in the Bahamas say she was fatally attacked by a bull shark while snorkeling with her family in the Nassau area. It's reportedly a popular spot for snorkeling, but it's also reportedly not far from a spot where another woman was killed by sharks a few years ago.
When you're on the surface, particularly if you're wearing black or splashing around, you could be perceived as a fish in distress or even a seal. And sharks are programmed to eat seals.
EMS personnel responded and they confirmed no vital signs of life.
DePlacido worked as a project coordinator in community and government relations for Gannon. We do have a live look for you at Gannon University this morning, where school officials called her a powerful presence of kindness and friendship.
Yeah, and I mentioned I'm a Gannon grad. My daughter's a freshman at Gannon, so as a member of the Gannon community, yeah, feeling the pain of this one. Our condolences here at Erie News Now going out to the DePlacido family as well as the entire Gannon University community this morning.
Yeah, it's a story that even if you didn't know her or go to Gannon, your heart still hurts for everyone involved. Well, 6:35 this morning, and we are getting a look at some newly obtained surveillance video from roughly 3 hours after a Memphis jogger disappeared last week.
Yeah, this new video, captured apparently by a camera at the suspect's brother's apartment complex, appears to show a black SUV driving through the neighborhood where police would later discover Eliza Fletcher's body. Possibly shows the scene outlined in court documents, which describe that suspect, Cleotha Henderson, as cleaning out the interior of the car with floor cleaner and acting very strange, according to at least 2 witnesses. And stories like Eliza Fletcher's are just another reminder that for runners, walkers, or anybody going outdoors, especially when it's a little bit dark out there, you need to be aware of your surroundings. But there are some tools out there, technology basically, that can help runners feel a little bit safe while they're out there.
Yeah, different things like light up vests to make runners more visible, handheld alarms to cause a commotion, and a common item, pepper spray or mace. And while running with a buddy is always a safe option too, sometimes it's not always possible. That's why Gene Britton from Achilles Running Shop at the West Erie Plaza recommends running prepared. He says in just the past couple of days, they've seen an influx of customers coming in to buy running safety gear, adding that they've even sold out of a few items.
Yeah, it just happened. It doesn't happen all the time because we sell them all year because people want mace and pepper spray. So we just happened to have sold out of them during this time when that news report was on. We had quite a few and they're just all gone now.
Now, during my conversation with Gene, he also mentioned there's a heat zone app called Strava where you can actually look up an area that you want to run in and see if other people have been there or are there, so you know it's a route where other runners will be. Well, 6:37 this morning, and it's the day NFL fans have been waiting for months. The new season kicks off in just a matter of hours.
Yeah, and one of our local teams, the Buffalo Bills, they're hoping tonight's game against the Rams out in L.A. is the start of a Super Bowl run. And our sports director, John Leidick, is here live with us this morning to talk about this big one. I don't know if Buffalo Bills fans have been this excited, John, for a season opener, perhaps ever.
Well, I mean, the only other time would be in the early 90s when they went on that 4 Super Bowl run.
Perhaps,
would be
right.
the only other time. But yeah, I mean, you look at any team across the NFL, the Buffalo Bills right now are probably the deepest among any team, and especially in a loaded AFC.
What do you think we can expect from tonight's game?
You know, tonight's game is going to be an interesting one. You have the defending Super Bowl champions, and it's always that question of, is there that Super Bowl hangover? You're going to have the trophy presentation. They're going to hang the banner tonight. But this should be a good one. Gabe Davis emerged last year in the playoffs. You'll see him, I think, Dawson Knox just off his new contract. But it should be a good one. But, you know, when you're facing Aaron Donald in that defense, former classmate of mine, he's always there in the backfield looking to wreak havoc. So it should be a good game. I think it's going to be a close one.
Josh Allen, a California kid, so kind of a homecoming for him out for this game out in L.A. What do you think he's going to do tonight? And his, a lot of expectations for him this whole season.
Yeah, he's one of the MVP favorites going into this year. As I think tonight he's going to have a good night. You know, Jalen Ramsey's obviously one of the top cornerbacks in the league, and he's going to face him tonight. But I think should be a good game this season. You know, the sky's the limit for the Buffalo Bills. They're my Super Bowl pick to be there. Against the San Francisco 49ers, so I think he should have a good start to his season, and it's going to be tough though in the AFC, especially in the AFC West.
Game prediction. Let's put you on the spot.
Game prediction. I will go Buffalo Bills. Offense is always hard in the first game. 21-17.
All right. Now we know the game isn't in Buffalo, but what are the odds that there's already Buffalo fans in Buffalo tailgating this morning?
I'm sure they're pretty high. So if you were at a table today, you are not safe. Find a place to hide.
Be concerned if you're at a table in Buffalo for sure. All right, John Leidick, thanks so much for stopping by early this morning.
Absolutely.
Gearing up for that Buffalo Bills game aired right here on NBC. Coming up, I think kickoff is set for about 8:30 tonight.
David, who do you have for tonight's game?
Well, it's going to be hot out there in L.A., but the thing is they play at SoFi Stadium, and they can enclose things so you don't have to deal with that 92-degree heat outside. They've been baking in the Southwest. So the Bills and the Rams, they're tonight. On Sunday, the Browns and the Steelers facing a little bit of rain at 1 p.m. Browns taking on Baker Mayfield, and the Panthers and the Steelers taking on the defending AFC champs, the Cincinnati Bengals. So the weather could certainly play a part in both those games, and our CBS game is the Steelers and the Bengals. So we do have some active weather out that way. Our weather will certainly be turning more active over the weekend as well. August, gorgeous month. Only one truly cloudy day. Now, it's certainly been a different story in September. We've had 3 cloudy days already, and those 3 days have been consecutive, really, all this week. We are looking at some foggy conditions out there in Meadville right now, sitting at 60 degrees with our Bob Ferrando World camera, and inland spots dealing with some of that lower visibility under a mile in Jamestown, Warren, even into Oil City and around Titusville. At the bus stop, 64 degrees. Some of those patchy areas of fog, but we're all dealing with that sunshine, middle 70s during the afternoon. Got your dog walk forecast and your weather wow moment after the break.
6:41 into Thursday. Former President Trump, still longtime ally Steve Bannon, expected to turn himself into authorities today. The details on what charges he's facing coming up next.
From Erie News Now, this is First Warning Weather with David Wolter.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is 6:43. Looking outside right now along Upper Peach Street, and we're finally drying things out. We're going to get some sunshine today, something we just have not seen for a while. It's kind of ironic. We unofficially finish up the summer season, and we go through a stretch of gloominess, something we really haven't seen as of late. We've been very spoiled with the weather. I think that's the reason why this gray weather is a little bit more difficult to deal with. 58 degrees. Winds are on the calm side. We do have patchy areas of fog away from the lake shore, where temperatures 59, 60 degrees, Edinburgh to Cambridge Springs. Back into Warren, Sheffield at 61, 58 in Jamestown. Let's say hello to Bandit from Jason. I just love this photo. I love when you can get the dog to be really, really photogenic. And it looks like Bandit it's just all cozy on the carpet there. And for today, the dog walks will be plentiful. So I'm sure Bandit's going to be demanding a couple of dog walks, or at least, much of the afternoon just hanging outside. Because when you have the lovely weather, I know the dogs just want to spend all their time outside. Right now, as we look at Doppler Max, you can see that we're looking pretty good out there, aren't we? And Futurecast still keeping us fairly foggy. That's what you can't see on satellite, but we do have those areas of inland fog. It's a little bit dense, but it will start to lift by around 8, maybe 9 at the very latest. Some of those river valleys could still hold on to some of that fog by the middle of the morning. And then as we continue through the day, things are looking good for any of those outdoor plans, any outdoor dining, maybe going to the Seawolves game today. And tomorrow we'll have some areas of fog at the bus stop during the morning, but as the day wears on, we are definitely looking at more sunshine and a little bit of extra heat. Temperatures will be a bit milder as we get to high school football time, which is around 7 o'clock, but it's certainly not going to be terribly hot or terribly uncomfortable for fans and players. For today, we got those temperatures into the lower and a middle 70s. Good amount of sunshine out there. Some scattered clouds. Crawford County temperatures into the lower and middle 70s for today. And our friends in Warren County, we are getting into the lower and middle 70s. So pretty comfortable stuff. A few degrees below normal. As we look ahead over the next few days here, temperatures back up into the 80s Friday into Saturday, and then on Sunday into next week, a very stubborn storm system will inch its way through the area. So that means enough cloud cover. We'll have multiple rounds of rain. Not expecting it to be raining every second, but we'll definitely have periods of rain that will keep things kind of soggy all the way into the middle of next week. All right, your Weather Wow moment takes us to the tropics. And right now, we've got some activity out there. We got Tropical Storm Danielle in the northern Atlantic. It became a hurricane a few days ago, and it's one of the latest first hurricanes of the season to ever develop. And normally, by the time you get into September, you've already had couple of hurricanes. Hurricane Earl here, that one's looking a little bit more impressive as it gets a bit closer to Bermuda, where there are tropical storm warnings in effect. As a matter of fact, right now we can start to see a little bit of an eye. So if you're wondering what's going on in the tropics, it is active, but thankfully for the most part, most folks aren't really seeing any impacts, but Bermuda will take a little brush by Earl.
All right, thanks so much, David. Coming up on Erie News Now, a developing story out of Tennessee. Police have a suspect in custody after a violent night of random shootings and carjackings, apparently broadcast on social media. The developing details on that story coming right up.
Welcome back into Erie News Now Sunrise. Well, former President Donald Trump's longtime ally, Steve Bannon, is expected to turn himself into authorities today.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Bannon expected to face new charges that he duped donors who gave money to build that wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. Bannon's accused of pocketing more than $1 million in donations. His state-level charges in New York closely resemble the federal case that ended when Donald Trump pardoned Bannon. Presidential pardons, though, only apply to federal crimes. The 68-year-old Bannon says he's being targeted because he and his radio show are popular among Donald Trump's supporters.
Well, 6:50 and new this morning, we might never know why 10 people were fatally stabbed and 18 others were injured in Canada. Police say they arrested a second suspect yesterday, but he died in custody. Police say a tip led to the arrest of Miles Sanderson in Saskatchewan Wednesday afternoon. They say that the car was stolen. It was a white truck, and that's where they found him in with a knife. Police did not reveal a cause of death, but did say they provided medical care on the scene. Officials say he and his brother were suspected of killing these 10 people on Sunday and injuring 18 others. Police found Damian Sanderson's body on Monday and say his wounds did not seem self-inflicted.
Well, down in Memphis, Tennessee, they're reeling from a violent hours-long crime spree. A suspect in custody after opening fire on several people, posting video apparently on Facebook along the way. Police have not confirmed how many people were killed or injured, but they say the suspect, 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly, had an active arrest warrant out. Court records indicate he was charged with attempted first-degree murder back in February of 2020, and records show he actually pled guilty to a lesser charge and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Now the suspect in this Memphis, Tennessee shooting spree. Coming up, backpacks that claim to be bulletproof are showing up across the country. We're going to put one to the test. We've been doing it all morning long. If you're just waking up, we're going to show you the final results when we come back.